I sat in here today, and I'm during the part where it was the highest heat index and the most power to be drawn and stuff like that. I didn't use the air conditioner. It was pretty tolerable. I don't know if it got in the 90s in here, but it was, you're in the shade, and I'm in an orchard, so I didn't use the air conditioner until now. What time is 6 o'clock? Okay, so because I figured, Dad, we were using 3 air conditioners, and we had those surges and things yesterday. So today I just didn't use mine, and we didn't have any issues, so that worked. So you got to do your part, right? But he has the 2 over there and keeping the cats cool and keeping him cool, and I'm tolerable over here. I do the same thing in the winter. I don't use the heat. I just put clothes on and open the windows for fresh air and acclimate to the climate to the best of my ability, even with all the environmental toxins from genocidal operations. And they say you should call and get your medicine. Today's nutritionist is tomorrow's physician. You should probably read Henry David Thoreau's Walden. I'm pretty sure that technology is getting a lot better, and the people that invented it are not good. And there's nothing wrong with technology when you're using it right. Like Haile Selassie said, anything you acquire through learning, if you use it for selfishness, you can negate all the wisdom, and it becomes more of a harm than a help. So, TV, watch it. So, and Rockefeller told me that in Sierra Vista, they'll gladly kill over me and my grandpa's money and watch you and your Jesus die, Parsons, and believe in their ego cartoon character that they make up that are better than you. Yeah, like my dad's better than your dad. And we've all done that to some degree. Felt jealous about things. And, I did that with Pete and Bill. And Paul Ponce knew I was lying because I didn't have these guys. So I made up 2, like Billy Batson and long hair and muscled and strong. Told them all about him. They don't exist. No, Pete and Bill didn't exist. They're figments of my imagination because I didn't have Tony and Chuck. I liked Tony and Chuck. Oh, yeah, I love Tony and Chuck. Tony and Chuck were big brothers to me and always will be, Old Tony and Chuck Ponce. And Tony, the stock car driver, and Chuck, the obnoxious. Chuck was a good guy. Chuck was funny. I liked Chuck a lot. I don't know where he got the blonde hair from. Well, his mom had brown hair. Annette had, they all had, Tony had a little bit darker eyes like his dad. And Tony looked like Mr. Ponce. Paul looked like a cross between mom and dad and had the hazel eyes and stuff, but looked like dad with mom's, He looked like Lancelot from Camelot with opposite Richard Harris, or was that Robert Goulet? I don't know. It was another one, but there was another movie like that. He looked like a guy that played Lancelot. Of course, his dad looked a little bit like Jimmy Smits, and so did Tony. A little bit lighter. And Chucky was handsome, but Chucky had like dirty blonde hair and tanned like skin and stuff. And Chucky's handsome and real sarcastic and very funny. He wasn't a bully. He was very protecting. He was in the middle of, it was like Kenai and Sitka and Denali, but there wasn't those same kind of issues, and there wasn't any, not that I knew of, any real jealousies or anything like that. No, not at all. All the boys had their own things that they liked to do, and they were good at. They were good kids. It's just a good family. I'm not over exaggerating or stuff and not seeing things. How you see things and you would see how things are, and they're there, but they just weren't there. Mr. Ponce and Mrs. Ponce, were 2 good, Catholics that, that believed in the Bible and and stuff. And I think that was kind of difficult on Well, I don't think it was. I think it was easy for Mr. Ponce to look at and say, okay, they're real people based on these and they really, And when you sit and you watch the kid and you see him against these horrible odds, overwhelmingly terrible odds, and he's able to talk to Jesus and get through it and overcome a lot of the hell and on his own, And so that's very convincing, that this kid's going to be the guy that does it. This kid's going to be the guy that, helps redeem the Gospels, and it's pretty easy to see. It's hard when you have family that you adore and you love, and they sit there and they have brain damage from getting jobs and extortion jobs that are part of, exploitation and extortion. Exploitation and extortion that invade your house to try to get you to either do things the way they want them done or destroy you because you won't do things the way they want them done, right? And it's nuts, but you get that, and you look at people. But Rockefeller's right. He said, they'll do that to you. And everybody in this town, especially your heroes, your Jack Reachers, your Jack Ryans, and Dave Miscavige and Tom Cruise, yeah, especially if they are real close buddies with all the Jack Reachers and Jack Ryans that were sexually predicating on my Aimee to try to get me out mad because they could outfuck me. It's like, yeah, anybody with a big dick and an ego problem can outfuck anybody that's a faithful lover that protects us from all fucking and outfucking. Anybody can, Goliath, You have outfucked me. You've all outfucked me. David Rockefeller set up a surveillance network that would collect all the evidence and put it on quantum computing that could not be altered, so you couldn't sit there and turn the Gospels into a comic book to project your ego and your sex cults with phallic symbols everywhere. You see what I'm saying? It's not a question of if, it's just a question of when. Before I stand out above the crowd, even if I gotta shout out loud, till mine is the only face you'll see. I don't really... what I wanted from those assholes in Sierra Vista is let's just quietly say, okay, he did it. Let's redeem the Gospels. Let's say, oh, here's what Jesus and Muhammad really meant. And then let's just let all you geniuses and super geeks with all your, okay. But they didn't want that. They wanted to, it's like Rockefeller and Rothschild said about Zuckerberg and all them. And I thought Dana was, no, bullshit. He sat there and he came to me, Dana, a hitman for the mob, coming up into the parking lot, says, the old school money is down with you. They want to tell everybody about you. They want to tell you he's for real. The Gospels are for real. We believed Krishnamurti was for real. We believed Selassie was for real. All these people that challenged him, they're turd bags, and they're still turd bags. And Selassie was the real deal. He's a beautiful person. He had a very hard life because people turd bags. Same with Krishnamurti. Same with Sun Yat-sen. Same with Suzuki. We had so many people that they had evidence, but this was the most extensive and the most horrific and the most disgusting and pretty heroic. I don't want to be an action figure like Hercules with the, Phil TDs and Meg. Yeah, I'm good. I don't have to dive into hell to save a cartoon character from hell. I'm good. Okay. But I do want to blow out. No, the horse Pegasus blows out Hades' hair. I punch him in the face and his face goes, all right. And then Pegasus blows his hair out. I'm not Hercules. That one lady did say that during thing. You're kind of like Hercules. I guess if you want to look at it that way, yes. But there's no magic gods in the sky watching us, and I'm not the direct offspring of the gods. I am the one who's most like Father Adam that gave us immaculate faith and omnipotent God so human beings can't invade gods with their sex cult egotism. How humble of me. Don't say brilliant or genius. I don't like either one of those words. What are these wackadoodles doing? Fight at Doñana County meeting. 2 people escorted out of the Commission of Chambers. Why were you guys thrown out? Why were you fighting? Why didn't you just stand up and say, hey, let's all live the Lord's Prayer? There's a guy north of San Ysidro. He's really cool. His name's Earl. He loves us. Okay. Kiki Garden, Orange, Charlotte Parnell, and Abigail, well, I can't say your last name, Salasuga. We're all escorted out and most likely incarcerated and processed so they could make money off of their bad brain activity through their Wi-Fi fucking. Very interesting. And then we just have to show up in a car. You got electric cars, you got to show up in a car. There's still tire particles that cause heart disease. You got to show up in a car to just have the camera, and you just absolutely be there, and the information positively absolutely has to be there immediately. LY. Public comment leads to violence. Multiple people escorted out and arrested. You guys do know this is my hometown of origin, of birth, and that I perform the Gospels here, and you should tell everybody, Earl! Girl, Santa Teresa, breathe. What are they doing? I don't know what these people are doing. They're crazy. What New Mexico gains from Project Jupiter? You guys are fighting about this? Why don't you just get up and speak truthfully, and then you won't have to do that. You can bring down the dam, cool down the fault lines, and see if there's any professors at New Mexico Tech and some of the students that are like, so you're really a decent guy? Yeah, this has been really scary, Earl. I totally get it. Alberto Del Campo is a protester. Okay. He's wearing jewelry that looks like a crucifix. Yeah. A lot of them do. It's a projection of their ego trying to pretend to be me, but they're not really like me. Well, I'm better at being me than they are. We know that with Pope Leo and Pope Francis and Eggs Benedict and, the rest of them. There's Jim Horst, a pro-data sinner. He's a pro-data sinner. He's pro-data center. Okay, he's not a pro-data center? No. He's a pro at a data center? Yes. Shake your money maker. Guys, you don't need data centers. What you need is be able to use your capacity to communicate with the things that they say, data. You need to be able to use these intelligently and faithfully. And when you do that, you'll restore the ecosystem, and you won't need to, you can't create jobs. You're causing jobs. Okay. Like, I was sitting there playing foosball with the Cal State LA Eagles. I decided to play with them again because I put in Louisiana Lafayette because of my buddy from crawfishing from Fort Huachuca. All right, there's some people. I have a lot of hope that Mike and Tommy and a lot of those guys, that they really, some of them actually do believe in me. Especially, my Miriam, and that little family was so cute. Gosh, she's probably like 14. No, she's older than that, Earl. When was it? The little cart, she's so cute, little baby, because her parents were just beautiful. He waited for her to go to the military and come back, and yeah, he waited for her. It was a gorgeous story. And he's handsome. She's like, oh, she's worth waiting for. Isn't he? He's a total sweetheart. I know. A lot of guys are like that. Mike Gorman did that with Pancha, but Pancha couldn't do the same. She was in a difficult situation, and it really hurt Mike. I like Mark Gorman. Mike Gorman was a pretty good guy. He couldn't stand up to bullies like I could, but then there's Mr. Colville, Count Coup on the, and everybody knows it. Every Jack Reacher, Tom Clancy, a novelist or a product of that egotistical bullshit, if they don't know I exist, it's because they're just not good enough to care. And if they do know that I exist and they don't stand up for how good I am, they're not good enough to care. And so, that sucks. Oh, is this the little kid that was shot in the back of the head? And there's this asshole is also from Las Cruces. And he apparently has no idea. No, Magashima knows I exist. He's seen me twice. Oh, he's seen me. I had a security guard at the library saying that when me and Lawrence Watkins and the other guy were talking up in the top reading room thing where you could talk and read at the same time, that he had the feed go into his office at City Hall. Yeah, the security guard, we're watching you. So, yeah, Ken Magashima. Yeah, so I know the fuck Mashiga knows. My sister, Todd doesn't know who you are, and neither does Suzanne Martinez. Well, I'm a really bad person, so Ken Magashima ought to be governor and not Susanna Martinez, because he's better at making sure bad people like me don't influence your children into living the Lord's Prayer. We need another data center. Yeah. What you need is truth. I can't protect you from what you're doing. All this evidence is going on quantum computing, and everybody in the future knows exactly what's happening, how it's happening, and why it's happening. We have global controls to eliminate the server and restore privacy through freedom from debt and trespass, and restore logical thinking and not going to the house. You can't do that. Guys, for thousands of years, when they had that thing, the Hawaiians with James Minster, those people, a lot of them married their siblings because their families were so closely, you didn't have choices. Okay, you did not have choices to have mom and dad were pretty much brother and sister. You lived on a small island, and everybody was pretty much related. And then you grew up, and then I know you, I've walked with you. And that's why the sister on the Hawaiians is so upset with the brother when he comes back from New England to get indoctrinated into Christian self-righteous hypocrisy bullshit. He has one of the most beautiful women probably in the planet. She's gorgeous, right? She's sitting there waiting for him. Mr. Christian got himself killed going back to, for you are beautiful, and I have loved you dearly, more dearly than the spoken word can tell. And inside out, the queen, the mother, she's a sweetheart. She's strong and protecting, and she's very moral. But she wants to learn what their families are doing wrong, so they can do less wrong, so they can even be better for their kids, better for this. But they weren't. Okay, the whites came in and brought in different crops that threw off the ecosystem, like the pineapple and other things and stuff like that. They didn't function and do the things with the soils properly. They did mining, which caused leprosy. They took people off to the smaller islands that could not be exploited as much and dropped all the lepers off there. They were horrible, okay? But it wasn't too hard to be horrible, because you had transhumant raiders that would go from island to island on boats and rape, loot, and pillage and take what they want. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They had leper colonies because things got out of balance, because people were killing and taking all the food and trying to breed off the other people and dominate and have the best things on their island. And it was horrible. Very horrible. There were small pockets, like in the Middle East. This is Judea, goats and Jehovah. This is Medina and Mecca. These little outposts of faithful people. Yelp will migrate away to the worst real estate, and then when we start to flourish, then they show up. Oh, everything's going great around here. Yeah, until you show up. Like what happened with the lines of the Dalai Lamas in Tibet. They went to the worst possible real estate and tried to survive to the best of their ability. A lot of the superstition stuff kind of fucked it up, and when the Chinese came and said, you're doing this wrong, they didn't accept it and change, like Moses with the calendar and the years and the this and the writing and the understanding astronomy and being able to explain their religious beliefs and Genesis better through understanding of the way the planet works and stuff, where instead of having those wackadoodles at the loving family thing, God made all in separated. It wasn't separated. It's just where you quote unquote evolve through your symbiotic relationships of molecular structures, you adapt to the environment. When people move about the cabin area, which you should do, because if your family is Hatfield and a McCoy and you're tired of the Hatfield and McCoy food and shit, and you get up and you walk away and you go to this island and you meet this girl, to your land of endless sunshine, to my land filled with rainy skies and dales, and as I should home to return again, tis home to England. I shall see the English mist roll through the days. I cannot whistle like Roger Whiskers, which I'm okay with. It's hard. I've always wanted to whistle like Gordon Lightfoot and Marty Robbins and I didn't know Roger Whisker was Roger Whittaker. I love Roger Whittaker. He's one of my favorite. I didn't know he was such an exquisite whistler. I mean, it's a beautiful. The Mexican Whistler, I've got to put that on my MP3. That is just gorgeous. Okay, that is a beautiful song. It's a song. It's what songbirds do. So it's very beautiful, yeah. And he's real good with the guitar. I love Roger Whiskers. My parents really got into him. It must be the British thing in them, mom and dad in British, and Germanic. I think it's hilarious that during the apocalypse, that the people you labeled the worst devils, the Germanic tribe and all that, the coldest, most horrible Hitlerian, the descendant of the Kramers, the saints that protected the people from the Spanish Inquisition in Germany, the descendants of Stanislaus and St. Nicholas, are the devil. Neener, neener, neener. Pocket full of stupid meaners. You're so dumb. Kramer means Jewish peddler, protecting the people from the Inquisition from a Holocaust, another Holocaust. Neener, neener, nooner. Ha 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 hooner. That's my grandma, Ruth's line. So yippers. And who could blame her if she instead of marrying her Hebrew cousin that was as dumb and goofy as Mel Brooks, that she married a hot German guy that maybe looked like Dolph Lundgren and had a lot of really cute kids. Like, in the Little Loving Family, I was looking at the kids. Oh, she's so cute. They're like, because mom's kind of light like that. And she got some Emily things about her. And he has things that remind you of Patrick. And there's Emily's kids and Amy's kids with the little white people hair. They're so cute. Yeah, I was sitting there watching The Loving Family. And as I'm looking, and this is before I'm born, okay, where I'm seeing these kids. Oh, they're so cute. It's like, if they're still alive, they're older than me. But you still can't help it. When you look at the pictures of the kiddos and they're doing the kiddo things and mommy's putting on the shoes. I was just sad that they both smoked cigarettes because of all the stress they went through. I've got those smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee blues. Smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee all night long. I like Marty Robbins too, yeah. True, I wasn't born anywhere south of the border, and I'm not a native to old Mexico. All you egotistical, arrogant egomaniacs in Las Cruces that for some reason still think you're a better person than me, don't worry about it. According to all the scientists at White Sands that mind fuck you to get you to kill over money and vote over killing over money, have all got together and totally agree I'm an egomaniac with bad brain activity that thinks my head is the center of the universe. No. Ark of Covenant means have faith in the glory of God and don't try to make your head center of the universe. Humble I are. Dumber than fucking fighting for fuck money are you. More humble than your ego. Well, that's not hard to do. More humble than kids being sent off to school in a yellow school bus. Am I? There you go. And dogs going to doggy daycare. There you go. I'm like, they're all excited. These dogs are excited to get on a bus for doggy daycare. Okay, let's just forgive debt and trespass, love one, and turn on fulfill peace. Why would you guys need dog parks? Why wouldn't you just have people in the close proximity? If the dogs get along, they hang out. If they don't get along, keep them separated. You know what I mean? Oh, it only makes sense. Some dogs just want to kill each other. And that's just the way they are. And they live that way for tens of thousands of years. And you don't need to go and beat them into each other. You say, okay, those two you will keep separated. That's an alpha boy. That's just another alpha boy. And they're going to fight to the death to see who gets to fuck all them there bitches in heat. Hell yeah. Okay, that's just the way they've been for tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands. A long, long time. The tiger and the lion should be friends. Well, if they want to cross-mogenate. If one of the girls of the Australian crowd says to the German crowd, hey, I think we'd make a nice puppy. Let's call him Ezekiel. He will see the wheel. Natalie will love him. Noah will love him. Emily will love him. Kate will love him. Crumb barely got to know him, but he got up in his face and Crumb will love him. And Patrick, he's one of the best dogs in the world, Dad. You can't let them take him. I'll come get him. That's what Patrick told me when they were doing all the bullshit and I got locked up. I thought I was going to lose Zeke. I talked to Patrick on the phone. He's like, no, you can't. No. Those dumbasses in Las Cruces will take him and do goddamn Michael Vick shit with that dog. No, you cannot let assholes get a hold of that dog. He's too good and too protecting of a dog. And when he was young, he was 10 foot tall and bulletproof. Probably could have killed every dog in the county. Okay. And then when he got older, he still wanted to keep his, when the pit bulls were all running around and I had to save him the one time. And then he would go out there and I'd open the gate and I'd do stuff. And he would sit there and he'd look at me and goes, no, I want to come out here and put on a show. I just don't want them to be able to get through the gate. And you close the gate. You trying to get me killed? Like, boy, a dog at 35 in dog years and a dog at 77 in dog years is a very different dog. The 77 dog is like, trying to get me killed? Lock the damn gate, for crying out loud. Make sure there's no young whippersnapper bucks going around, right? But like when Leo came over and I tried to tell Eddie about that. Okay, you need to give him away because they almost did like with the bull mastiff. He was submissive to Leo, and they thought, oh, okay, look at he's submissive to him. No, he was lining him up so Zeke could get behind him, and then Zeke was getting right next to his main back artery and was going to get it because he was shorter and smaller, and he could get him. And he could stop Leo from pissing on his windows, come fronting on him once and for all, and I wasn't having it. So I went and got between him and Eddie and took him apart. They said, oh, no, he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. No, I know what Zeke's going to do. Okay, he's going to grab a hold of him and try to kill him. Okay, I know exactly what Zeke's going to do. That's Zeke. He was not a bad dog. He was a dog. Okay, he would do the same thing with coyotes when they tried to kill his cats. He'd do the same thing with that fox. He did the same thing. He didn't kill the he did kill the Chihuahua. Yeah, he did. And the people in Cochise County said, what happened? This dog was on a leash. Natalie was taken out to go to the bathroom. They let the Chihuahua out. The Chihuahua fronted on the big dog, got in his face, tried to lift a leg in his face. Zeke grabbed a hold of his back leg and swung it around and slammed him. Just like he did with the little terrier that I said there when I first got him. I said, please don't let your dog, it's okay, he's good with other dogs. No, okay, your dog is a little fucking terrier with his bone and his bunny bink in the backyard and you don't have him on a leash. My dog is a shepherd mix that can use your dog for a chew toy. Please come get your dog. Oh, it's not necessary. She came up, the dog got in the face and started snipping at Zeke. Zeke grabbed it by the snout, swung it around and slammed it back down. The lady went and called and said, go ahead, call. You have to tell them exactly what happened. Besides, I'm the most surveyed person in the history of the U.S. military and NASA. And no, nobody came and said, hey, that's a bad dog. No. They sit there and ask what happened. It's military town. Okay, lady, his dog was on a leash. He told you to get your dog and back away from his dog. You didn't. Okay, he's doing exactly what a dog owner should do to make sure that his dog is being safe and your dog is safe. You weren't. You let your dog loose and let him come right after his dog that could grab his dog and use it as a chew toy if it gets within a foot of him. And that's what you did. Okay? You didn't take care of your dog. And you're trying to tell us to destroy his dog because you're an irresponsible dumbass. Okay? That's what you're going to get from these assholes right here. All right? That's what you're going to get. With their 3D printed fucking barracks who haven't made my basketball barn in the Gila yet and haven't put my Adobe house together yet. That's what you're going to get from those fucking assholes. Don't expect anything better from those fucking pricks and piles of shit. Okay? You trap the soul in the mind and you do not obey the perfect commands of the Lord. Okay? The Lord doesn't want you to make a 3D printer to make barracks for people that are trained to kill over money so they can all sit there and listen to that dumbass talk. Okay, the only person that wants to listen to that dumbass talk is himself. Well, like attracts like. If you're a dumbass that will take a paycheck to kill because you think it's fun, like that asshole in front of the Thomas Brannigan Memorial Library, okay? You're the same asshole as the other asshole, okay? The offspring of Genghis Khan, the offspring of Ramesses the Great, the offspring of William the Conqueror, the offspring of Charlemagne, okay? When women come to me and say, David, I want to have your child or nobody else's child. And I say, I want you to marry him. He's a better man. No. Every time you turn around, he's talking about undermining you and fucking your wife at the bar and taking your job to get a house on campus to make money off the kids being tortured by indoctrination, institutionalization, incarceration. He doesn't know the descendants of Nanak Dev. He doesn't know the descendants of the Cheyenne, the human beings, the friends of Crazy Horse and Little Hawk. That's where Little Hawk spent most of his time, was at the Cheyenne camps, because the Oglala people no water shot Crazy Horse in the face because he was a half-breed. And most people in the camp didn't disagree. There was He Dog because High Hump was murdered by No Water and Red Cloud, and so was Little Hawk by their own people. We're hard to kill. We're not impossible to kill. Okay, do you understand? Absalom. No, take me, but not my son. Okay, we're hard to kill. We're not impossible to kill. When we sit there and could have gone like this and strike down our uncle because he was the biggest gossiper that caused problems between him and all the things in the relationship between Solomon and Absalom, he sat there and he put his sword down, and because he asked in prayer, he said, I want my enemies made vulnerable to me so I will know who I need to stop, who needs to, he said it wrong, who needs to die today. What happened? He threw down his sword, told his uncle Joab that he was his own worst enemy and take me to my father and I'll make up, and Joab knew that wouldn't work with his political agendas and purposes with who he made political deals with, and he stabbed Absalom in the gut. And David thought that if he went to go take on his son, he would see him as an enemy, and he didn't want to fight his son as an enemy. He wanted his son to realize that his dad would not go out in the field of battle to kill him, so he should come and talk about being friends again. Right? It was a horrible, horrible thing. That's why when they came and told me, why'd you do that? Why, Lord? Why did this have to happen? I bade you. I didn't go fight him in the field of battle so you could know who your eternal enemies are. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. If your son's making bad decisions because he's listening to the selfish women in his tribe, and the men in your tribe are a bunch of bitches that act like selfish women, instead of standing up for a living Messiah, you'll go to what's called a church and vote in political parties for a man who's a criminal, and won't stand up for the man who stands up to stop all criminal activities with the Lord's Prayer all by himself. You guys loco? They're in a loco state of mind. They're making money for criminals that are involved in human trafficking and medical industry that makes money off of chemical toxins from irrational genocidal economics. So it's pretty bad. Yeah, but you're a professional soccer player. Anywhere you go, my whole crew gonna know, hey baby, 'cause I got a lot, right? So, as looking at things as a human being, and trying to explain this to people, I don't think you guys realize the magnitude of the Patriot Act, the magnitude of the surveillance network at this time, what Rockefeller and Rothschild set up, and quantum computing, which was already invented and being used before I was taken to Fort Huachuca, before Halloween 2006, to collect the evidence, to show everybody exactly what will happen in the modern era if there's a real Messiah and not a cartoon character Messiah. Guys, I've recovered from cancer and gone into remission from being chemically poisoned by things called laws written down by the Supreme Court and forced by the Pentagon on me. Okay? Should have been left for dead, should have died. Okay? I've done things, at Bob's house, Bob's house. Mom will throw a knife at you and a coffee mug too, and I did the back, I don't have to train. Okay? I could do martial arts type maneuvers to protect myself and protect others, when things happen that other people trained for years to do and could not do it as effectively, as swiftly, and as intelligently as me. Yeah, I'm just genetically that way. If I just exercise and stay in shape like a mongoose or whatever and stuff, I just by instinct bounce, boom, boom, boom. And I have the best communications in the whole world to protect my dog from getting taken down by 3 dogs in Addie, Washington, by just having a 2x4 near, like David did with the bear with the log, right between the ears. Okay, so I've got the best relative forms of faithful communication in the history of the entire world because I earned it, because I am the gracious good shepherd. If you don't believe that, that's what you pay your taxpayer dollars for quantum computing for. And your surveillance satellites and all your cell phones and all your new top data equipment that can cover more areas and range and pick up more sounds all through the house, like on that call. Wake the fuck up, hey, and all that. They can pick up everything within a 20, 30 mile hour radius. The camera can pick up, you know what I'm saying? Needs to know basis, classified information in the interests of national security for genocide operations through corporate corruption. Genome sequence me that, and genome sequence you this. Okay. You are what you do. Is there a place for the hopeless sinner who has hurt all mankind just to save his own belief? We got to fulfill the book. Well, now the perception of the book cannot be changed and is put on quantum computing that cannot be corrupted by human manipulation. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. You'll find that my love is a true love. It's just a matter of time, right?